Today, I'm going to show you how to make a cute bunny plush out of a sock. For this project, you'll need a sock, obviously, a pair of scissors, a ruler, some fabric for the eyes and nose, thread that matches your fabrics, a washable or light-colored marker, and some polyfill, or as I call it, fluffy stuff. You can find all of these materials, including a few extra socks, in the crafting section of the Alley Makerspace. If you're using a sock with a pattern, you'll want to turn it inside out before you start, so the pattern is on the inside of the sock. First, you're going to fold the heel of your sock down like this and flatten it all out. Then, take a ruler and mark 1.5 and 2.5 inches from the heel. I use those numbers, but this is your project, so do whatever you feel like. Then, draw this shape like I am. The low part will be the bunny's forehead, and the tops will be the ears. After that, thread your needle. I would normally use white thread for this, but I'm using a contrasting color so you can see what I'm doing. Tie a strong knot at the end of your thread. I'm doing 5 or 6 knots. I'm using a kind of back stitch. Here's a little diagram of how you do that. Pretend this yellow line is fabric and the black line is thread. We'll come through the fabric, then back in, and then instead of continuing forward like a normal running stitch, we'll bring it back up through the middle of that last stitch. Again, we come up, down, back through the middle. If this doesn't make sense to you, that's fine. You can use a running stitch, which is your normal in and out stitch. So now, I do a back stitch along the marker line, using that knot I tied earlier to hold the first stitch. When I'm done, I pull my thread in and out one more time and use that loop to tie a knot. Now I can cut the ears out. I leave about 1 centimeter the whole way around so I don't accidentally cut the thread. While we have the scissors out, I'm going to cut off the toe of the sock, right above the seam. At this point, you can go wash your marker off and dry your fabric with some paper towel, which is what I did. Then we're going to flip our sock inside out and poke the ears out so you can see them. I can't tell if this is cute or creepy. Well, it'll definitely be cute once we get some fluff in there. Take little bits of fluff and stuff each ear. I like to roll the plush in my hands to shape the ears. Then take a big ball of fluff for the head and smush it in there. And finally, one for the body. Let's close up the hole with a basting stitch. Back to the diagram. A basting stitch is basically the same as a running stitch, just with wider gaps. We are going to tie the thread to start the hole, then do a basting stitch all the way around the hole. This part might look tricky in the video, but it's super easy in real life. You're going to want to pull the thread and close the hole. As you do, poke the fabric into the hole so it closes cleanly. Once you're there, tie the two ends of your thread together tightly. We're going to use this same idea to make a tail. I'm using some of the leftover scrap from cutting the ears. I'm cutting out a circle. Now tie your thread down and do a basting stitch around the whole circle. Start to pull it shut. I use my finger to keep the shape. Then grab some fluff and put it into the little pocket you've made. Pull and tie it shut. You're almost done with the sewing. Now we're going to ladder stitch the tail to the body. Diagram. Here we have 2 pieces of fabric. You're going to want to go in and out of the first, and then in and out of the second. In and out of the first, and it just repeats like that. I'm ladder stitching around the tail being my first piece of fabric and the body being my second. Once you're done with that, you have a bunny. You could leave him like this. He's a dust bunny, but I'm going to give mine a face. I'm cutting out eyes and a nose from scrap fabric and doing a few simple stitches to attach them to its face. You could hot glue them on or even use whatever you find in the alley for his face. Buttons, beads, rhinestones. The face is on and so cute! Our little sock bunny is finished. You should come down to the alley Makerspace and try your hand at sewing one of these little guys. There are some white socks in one of the scrap fabric bins, and all you need is a little creativity. Thank you for watching, and we can't wait to see what you make next.